Hey, good evening. It's January 31st, Friday, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. We just sent out the latest newsletter this week, it's today actually, for January, on Get Wisdom. And for those of you who subscribe, you can check out on the webpage there and subscribe, and you'll get uh, you'll get this update. So I hope you are encouraged to do that. Want to tonight go back to something I said I would do, bring updates about current events. Hi, Echo. You might have heard meow. Glad you're here tonight. Bring updates on what's happening in what we call current events, things that people are talking about, and how are we as Christians supposed to respond to those things? What does that mean? How can we have a response to this air collision between the chopper and the small regional aircraft, where 67 people lost their lives? How do we respond to that? Well, there's three takeaways I want us to be able to run away with. One is that nothing is random. Two, that God is more powerful than anything we can imagine. And three, only in God is found safety. God wants us to look to Him in all these situations. And a passage that has been a foundational just rock for me for years and years is in Acts 17. Paul is talking to these brilliant minds of the time, the greatest philosophers at the time, and we still rely on many of them today. And Paul is explaining the gospel to them, the importance of Christ. Listen to what Paul says as he's talking to these men. The God who made the world, and by the way, it's Acts 17, 24 to 28. The God who made the world and everything in it, of heaven and earth, does not live in temples built by hands. He is not served by human hands as if he needed anything, because he himself, and this blows me away, because he himself gives all men life and breath and everything else. See how dependent we are upon God. He gives us all of this. From one man he made every nation of men, that they should inhabit the entire earth. And he determined the time set for them and the exact places where they should live. God did this so that men would seek him and reach out, and perhaps reach out to him and find him, though he is not far from each of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. And then he tells them, as some of your own poets have said, we are his children. Such an amazing, warm extension of truth of the gospel that we can't be afraid to say. We don't know whom God's going to save, but we can say what Paul says. So let's look at this again under these three components here. First, nothing is random. God is not served by human hands. He doesn't need anything. From one man he made every nation of men, that they should inhabit the earth. And he determined the exact places for them and their time set for them, how long they're going to live and die. Each one of us, all 8 billion of us on the planet. Nothing is random. All of this is determined by God for a particular purpose, for his honor and glory. So that's the first thing. Nothing is random. Second, God is more powerful than anything we can imagine. Coming up on the screen right now is a picture of 7 p.m. tonight, Friday, January 31st, from an app called FlightAware, of the commercial traffic in the Washington, D.C., New York City corridor. And you'll see DCA, which is where the accident took place earlier this week. See those myriads of planes. God is in control of every one of them. You know, we are shocked and saddened by the death of the one plane and the crash of the one plane. And we say, what about those 67 people? But even that little tiny snippet of a picture you have here of that one moment, thousands of people are in the air, thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of planes. And this is just one little air corridor of our country. Imagine the world. God is in control of all of that. More powerful than anything we could imagine. So rather than being amazed or angry at the one that went down, we need to be amazed that all these other planes are flying. And that's by God's control and power. And then lastly, the third element that we need to take away and bring comfort and talking points with people. God alone is our place of safety. Psalm 62 tells us that. But we also see it right here. God did this. He has control of these things. Nothing is random. He does this so that men would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from each of us. See what Paul is saying here. All these events that happen in life, God is doing all of them. The living, the dying, the moving, the flying, our motivation from day to day, supermarket, wherever we're at. God is doing all these things, causing us to live so that we would reach out to him and maybe find him. For in him we live and move and have our being. As some of your own poets have said, we are his children. Whatever you're doing right now, we are doing it under the power and direction of God. Yes, we may determine we're going to go X or go to this place or go to the supermarket or fly to Washington or fly to Seattle or London or China or Hungary or whatever we might do. God is directing all of that. And when we arrive at our destination, God has determined that. If we don't, God has determined that too. And why is he doing it? So we would reach out to him in awe and realize that he is our one place of safety. So amidst all this clutter, all the talk, all the anger, all the blame shifting this week, remember these three things from this passage in Acts 17. 1, nothing is random. 2, God is more powerful than anything we can possibly imagine. And 3, God is our place of refuge. He wants us to reach out to him and find him. Only in God is safety. That gives us a framework, a template to how to evaluate these things that are happening everyday life. So that's the update, 24/7 update concerning the Regan crash. Again, let me know if this is helpful to you. So blessed to be with you each day. And Lord willing, we'll talk to you again tomorrow. You have a great night. Bye-bye.